For all of our lives, having been born and bred in Whanganui, the saying, "around the bridges," has been used frequently by us. Let's walk around the bridges, or let's ride around the bridges. There's even an annual Around the Bridges river run held at the end of the year. Whanganui has 4 main bridges that we walk, run or ride around, but there's a 5th bridge at Whanganui, used for foot or cycle traffic only. If you venture further up the Whanganui River, there's even a bridge at Taumaranui that crosses the Whanganui River too. And even though Whanganui seems to have claimed the bridge to nowhere, it's not actually over the Whanganui River. But to get to it, access via jet boats is on the Whanganui River. And since we're talking about bridges, when I first met Robert, he was a bridge builder for the New Zealand Railways. So come along with us as we ride around the bridges. It's a movie strip.
Sorry. We need one of those. No.
On the banks of the Whanganui River.
Well, I saddled up my shoes, headed out at dawn.
This Aromoho Railway Bridge has looked the same, unlike some of our other bridges, for all of our lives, having been built in 1877, although its timber lattice structure was upgraded to steel trusses in 1962. But we were too young to remember that though.
Headed out at dawn.
Now we're on Tom Parade.
I must explain that Robert and I were still experimenting with those cheap microphones from Temu while on this ride, which turned out to be a complete shambles as we often talked over each other. So I ended up redoing the journey around the bridges, which turns into another shambles again. But anyway, we had fun with our unprofessionalism.
Just comes and drifts away.
Dublin Street Bridge. Kauai Park over there.
Robert will go past me up here, you watch. I think he boosted up here. He's on a pedal. Here he goes. I know him.
There you go, under the bridge.
Look like a burning coin.
Oh, what's he pointing at?
Kauai Park.
Oh, Kauai Park. Uh-oh. Yep, over the river. Pencil sculpture. It's cool.
Now I'm rolling through the valley, wind hums through my head. Yeah, I'm rolling through the valley, wind hums through my head.
Got all these new signs up now. Heaps of them.
Otoa Gardens over there. And we come to the first of the signs on the river. Oh. Our Motoa Gardens was known as Pakaitori in the days before the Pākehā arrived, and this busy fishing village saw goods trading as people paddled their way from all parts of the Awa or river. The first British settlers landed here in 1841, eager to start a new life. Not all settlers arrived by boat. Many trekked on foot from Wellington, crossed treacherous rivers, slept on beaches, carrying all their belongings as well as sheep and cattle. The trip could take up to 2 weeks. In 2017, the Whanganui River was officially given the legal rights of a person. Unusual for sure, but a world first, and the Māori saying of "I am the river and the river is me" means the Māori treat the river not as a resource, but as an ancestor, a living entity and part of their identity. And this plaque, laid by Whanganui Mayor Chas Pointer in 1991, is commemorating the arrival of the schooner, the Elizabeth, with 13 settlers who laid the foundations of the township of Whanganui. All clear. Oh, thank you. The river hummed with activity from the late 1890s, and the Waimarie was one of the paddle steamers on our river from 1900 to the 1950s, where she once carried goods, locals and tourists, with often hair-raising journeys up and down the river. But in 1952 she sank at her mooring and lay stuck in the mud for more than 40 years. She was raised and restored by volunteers, then relaunched at midnight on New Year's Day 2000. And after helping with the restoration of the Waimarie in 1999, our oldest son Blaine's first job was being the stoker on board the Waimarie when he was just 16 years old.
Waimarie, Jerry Hill up there.
In the light of the moon, like I'm living in a dream.
It's a fish in the Whanganui River. I'm just going for my bike ride. And there was this fish wanting to talk to me. Wasn't it, ducks? That's where I saw a fish. It's the city bridge up there. This is where the markets are. The weekend. The boat's not there. Must be on a trip. Oh, the boys are swimming. They love it. Doing their manus. But it's a Saturday and this riverbank is full of market day. Here in Whanganui, these are the markets. Over the long weekend of Wellington Anniversary Day, every January, Whanganui hosts a vintage weekend featuring many different events, including steam train rides and our famous soapbox derby down Drews Avenue Hill. Bartering on the beach. When Pākehā settlers arrived, they called this area the beach, where trading took place, swapping their belongings for food and shelter. And Whanganui was the pork and potato capital of Aotearoa, having one ship sail to Wellington with 5 tons of spuds and 60 pigs for sale. As Whanganui's trade boomed, the town started taking shape, with the key being the beating heart. By the 1870s, Whanganui was New Zealand's second biggest port after Wellington. A town bridge was finally built and warehouses lined the quay along here. The first bridge had a swing span that spun around to let ships through. In 1867, a crazy Aussie gymnast crossed the river on a 2-centimetre wide wire, then did it again, pushing a wheelbarrow.
City Bridge.
Both Robert and I can remember the original town bridge, with the arch spanning the ends of the bridge. The new city bridge opened in December of 1970, when I was 11 and Robert was 15 years old. The new bridge was huge, boring, but it had 4 lanes. So flash for Whanganui.
Whanganui Wharf we're on. The town wharf. Go fishing.
Tabby Cat.
Tabby Cat.
I heard you. Definitely Whanganui.
Just over from my old work. Gee, I'm glad I don't work there anymore. Bloody A. Some more? I think these are the last, if I remember rightly. All our boats. Tabby Cat. Tabby Cat. Tabby Cat. No, that's Smelly Cat. Hey Phoebe. The area across the river from here is known as Pūtiki. It got its name from the explorer Tamatea, who bound his hair into a neat top knot, a pūtiki, before meeting with the locals.
Exercise place up here. Do you want to stop along the way and do some exercises? Yeah, right.
For the young, fit, healthy. But I do love this over here, eh, Bobby?
Train in the ground. Sculpture. Oh,
It's cool.
steam rail. Whanganui. Play around with old engines in there.
Coppin Bridge up there. It goes to Palmy, Wellington. The other way goes to New Plymouth. Now if we do a short ride going these 4 bridges, we turn up here. We're going out to the cliff.
Where are you going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We normally go right out to the cliff. Because that's too short doing the 4 bridges.
Keep going along here, takes you out to Castlecliff.
So off we go.
Coming up to the Gomble area, suburb of Whanganui, Gomble. It's the railway line that goes out to Castlecliff.
Look at how far Michelle's got with her painting the wall. Hey,
Just on the road, piece of the road track at the moment. Now we go back onto the trail, which is part of the Mountain to Seas track.
very good. Oh, how far's Michelle got? She's finished it. Oh, cool. Look at that on the way back. Oh no, she hasn't finished the end one. It's a movie strip. Looks like it's themed, Whanganui themed. Clever, Michelle.
I love the artwork appearing on walls around our city, and Michelle Sigley has painted many of them. So to capture her in action, painting this wall was pretty special, as usually the pictures just appear overnight, it seems. And this wall depicts Whanganui in the form of a movie reel, which really appealed to me. Aren't some artists clever?
Sorry.
We need one of those.
Oh. I tooted, but doesn't it say keep left around here? Doesn't
Correct.
it? Gee whizzikers, that was close,
Right.
wasn't it? What does that say? That says keep left.
The Whanganui River, of course.
You know what keeping left means? Oh,
Yeah.
some people, eh?
It's all part of the Imlay freezing works.
Now we go past the smelly meatworks. A sight of old bridges. Cool. Oh, and there's the motocross track over there. Behind that is the airport. Planes coming in and out of. It's gone. Army huts. And the motocross track.
We have loved watching our children and grandchildren riding their motocross bikes at this track over the years, even though motocross hasn't been kind to our family. 3 from one family breaking legs and foot, and Caleb smashing up his shoulder.
And just around the corner here is where our daughter works. Across there in the truck shop. She's in the office. The office manager there.
Emmett Service Centre.
So the day I was bitten by a dog while riding along this track, I called into our daughter Shade at her work at Emmett Service Centre, where she was very professional at administering first aid to me.
North Mole Mountains to see.
That's where the railway line stops here. It used to go right out to the wharf, but no longer.
Q West boatbuilders out here. A boat being built in there. Oh, she's a big blighter. And this is where we turn, just here. The track ends now, so that's right, we go back. But over there, where those trucks and tractors and that are, that's where they found that train, Bobby, didn't they? Over there, they dug it out of the sand.
While working on these coastal dunes, enhancing and restoring the river mouth, an old train was discovered, buried in the sand. The 150-year-old steam locomotive, known as a skunk, was used by the Whanganui Harbour Board to haul stones and boulders to build the South Mole at the river mouth. Once completion of the mole was done in 1918, the engine was abandoned and forgotten about until September 2025, found buried in 4 metres of deep sand. It now sits at Steam Rail Whanganui's depot, where it's being assessed for restoration.
And there, the high tide, but there's our breakwater wreck.
The shipwreck, the Tiano, was deliberately sunk here to serve as a breakwater to protect the port's wharves. It once carried cargo and passengers between Australia and New Zealand before being placed here in 1924 on top of another wreck, the Endeavour, as extra port protection.
Is our dredge at work? Marvellous. Moving it from one spot to another. Brilliant. But look, it's now April and they're still swimming. I don't know what the date, April 7, 8, April something.
It's so nice to get away, if just for a moment, if just for a day. We can drive past the sign.
So, we shall head back to the sea by day. Leave Nikki no boats alone.
Can we stay? Let's just stay.
I love these pictures along here, they're gorgeous.
Down broken streets, we chase the sun, chase the sun. The day was great, we made it shine. And you were
Like,
the world outside can fall apart. I don't care, as long as I can have your heart. 'Cause you have mine. Don't forget what's beneath the concrete. There's a wonderful
right,
world.
we'll get back on track. The 4 bridges. We'll go across the Cobham Bridge.
Cover the streets. Don't forget what's beneath the concrete. It's coming through the cracks and through the concrete. We can dance all night, break the concrete. Flowers will bloom and cover the streets. Days of
Motorway bridge coming up. It's the main road into Whanganui.
Did you say the Cobham Bridge?
The Cobham Bridge was built in 1962 by Emmett Brothers Construction, connecting Gonville to Putiki, and often referred to as the Motorway Bridge.
day was great, we made it shine. You were mine. The world outside can fall apart. I don't care, as long as I can have your heart.
Where are the churches? Oh, it's the church. That's where my sister lived when she first got married. It's all changed. I've now got a kindergarten here. Church. Still in Putiki.
This site in 1829 is where Te Rauparaha defeated local tribes, killing 400. Then 14 years later, when Reverend Richard Taylor arrived here, he gathered up bones that were still lying around the base of this hill and buried them.
They haven't changed the sign to Waimarino. National Park's now called Waimarino. Let's just have a look down here. The pa. It is in there. Cute, huh?
These Braeburn apartments are a landmark reflecting Whanganui's early 20th century tourism boom, when it was a high-end private hotel back then.
It's green. Going through.
Get across the lights, a bit of an ordeal at times.
Hill. I took a bunch of photos, all different times of the river's moods.
I have always loved the different moods of our river, so years ago I captured this one spot, in different moods as I call it.
Robert fell off his bike down there, trying to avoid the school kids. So that was embarrassing when they watched him fall, broke his shoulder. This is where I watched the kids do their jumps in here. They were showing off to me. Brave kids too. Man, I couldn't do that. Couldn't have when I was young. So now we're at James McGregor Drive along here and coming into Castlecliff Park. Down in there is the whitebaiters stream. They love their whitebaiting stream down in there. Oh, sorry doggy. Don't go over, don't go. Good dog. This is where I had to pass a car driving on this track too. Well, I had to give way to it. Some young kids in it. Here's the whitebaiters stream. The bambooing down there. Used to love playing in the bamboo when I was a kid. Right, we're off. Back through the bamboo. How neat. Love it. Now we're coming to Castlecliff Park. Castle, boat, the train. Something over there.
Park. Playground over there. To the right.
Castlecliff Park, famous in Whanganui, has been around most of our lives, having been created in the late 1950s. We remember playing here, then bringing our children. grandchildren. Structures have come and gone over the years, but it has remained the same mostly, usually just paint colours changing, and been brought back to life again after major flooding events. Back to Dublin Street Bridge. This is where the gypsies have their fair. Kids do their, whatever it is, they do their tricks.
Bike park or skate park.
And even kids with no bikes can amuse themselves. This Dublin Street Bridge opened in 1914, connecting the central city to the eastern suburbs, extending the Whanganui East Tramway. Back then, the bridge has passed its intended service life, with weight restrictions put on it and the need now to build a replacement bridge or have a major upgrade. So watch this space. Where the bumper boats used to be before the flood got them.
Any golf to your right there?
Mini park.
And the go-karts. Grandkids like that. Riverland's Family Park appeared here in the 2010s, just adding further amusement for children of all ages. And even this area has changed over the years too. This was all flooded in the big flood, 100-year flood, 2016. My poor sister didn't like it. Her house was over there. She doesn't live here anymore. And they've shut down this, oh that wind, shut down the freedom campaign. I'm afraid it was an abused site. We had all the tenters, the homeless tenting and their old caravan-y type situation. Camper vans and caravanners, they have to miss out now. People always mess it up for others, eh? So they shut it down. Oh, I love these willow trees. Beautiful. There we are at the end of the track. Robert goes up the street. I don't like roads. He's going to do it today. Yes, he is. There he goes. Bye, beach. I go up here. Oh, I might need two hands though, but... Uh-oh. Oops. Right on up. Up to the train bridge. And there we are. Back to the track.